In the dim twilight of the sprawling city of Vexel, a crowd gathers, drawn by the sound of laughter and the undercurrent of menace.
This spectacle isn't just a confrontation, it's a symbol of an eternal struggle between joy and unchecked fury.
At the center, Rocker, the clown whose smile could light up the darkest alleys, dances nimbly around Eki, whose eyes burn with the fire of Joctarasheado. Eki, once a kind-hearted guardian of the city, now towers over the crowd, his form swollen and hardened like ancient stone. Rocker, with his painted face and jingling bells, weaves around him, a sprite in a dance with a golem. The crowd watches breathless, as each movement weaves a story of conflict and the stark contrast between their transformed states.
The clown's laughter echoes off the stone buildings, a sound both beautiful and eerie in its defiance.
Meanwhile, I roar, a sound of thunder, a raw expression of the rage that Joctarasheado has stoked within me.
This is more than a fight, it's a performance, a display of the human spirit in its most primal forms. Joctarasheado, the dark alchemy of the soul, transforms its bearer into a being of immense power and aggression. The process is both terrifying and fascinating. Once the seed of Joctarasheado takes root, it feeds on the darkest emotions, growing until it completely overtakes its host. This transformation is not just physical, it's a total takeover of mind and spirit. The infected become like tanks, indestructible and relentless. Their skin turns to something akin to armor, their voices become deep and resonant with the power of their rage. Every emotion except anger seems to be burned away, leaving behind a creature driven only by the need to dominate and destroy. This metamorphosis is catalyzed by the influence of Joctarash, the malevolent entity whose presence looms over the afflicted. His shadow is cast long and dark across the land, a constant reminder of the threat he poses. It is said that Joctarash feeds on the chaos created by those he infects, gaining strength from their rampages.
Joctarash, the architect of Joctarasheado, is a figure shrouded in mystery and terror.
Born from the darkest pit of human fears, he represents the ultimate perversion of emotion and power. His origins are tied to ancient myths, where he was once a guardian spirit who was corrupted by the very emotions he was meant to protect. His descent into darkness was marked by a catastrophic event that twisted his essence, turning him into a harbinger of destruction.
This transformation was both a punishment and a release, giving me powers that could influence the very fabric of human emotion. My influence is insidious, spreading like a plague through whispers and shadows.
As Joctarash grew in power, so did his ambition. He sought to remake the world in his image, a landscape ruled by fear and anger. To achieve this, he created Joctarasheado, a tool to convert the strong and the brave into agents of chaos. His ultimate goal is not just domination, but transformation of the world into a place where only the strongest emotions, anger and fear, prevail. The transformation of Eki under the influence of Joctarasheado is a tragic tale. Once a beacon of hope in Vexel, his fall reflects the devastating impact of Joctarash's power.
As I succumb to the rage virus, I become a symbol of lost innocence and the destructive power of unchecked emotions.
During the confrontation with Roker, Eki's transformation becomes fully realized. His body bulges with newfound strength, his movements are both clumsy and terrifyingly powerful. The crowd watches, a mix of horror and fascination, as he attempts to crush the nimble clown under his massive fists.
Ever the agile entertainer, I use my skills to evade and soothe. My approach is not to fight, but to deflect, to turn anger into confusion, to replace fury with laughter.
This battle is not just physical but psychological, a duel between the forces of joy and the depths of rage.
The bringer of smiles. Armed with nothing but his wits and his unshakable belief in the power of joy, I dance around the edges of rage, weaving spells of laughter that pierce the heavy air of the battlefield. Each chuckle, each nimble dodge is a testament to my philosophy that light can indeed drive out darkness. I'm not just fighting for myself or for Eki, I am fighting for the soul of Vexel, challenging the very spirit that threatens to overshadow it.
Rocker, the smile-bringing clown, is more than just a performer. He is a symbol of resilience, a beacon of light in a world that often succumbs to darkness. His role in Vexel has always been to bring laughter and joy, to remind people of the goodness within them. Even as he faces the transformed Eki, his mission remains clear. His laughter is infectious, a potent antidote to the poison of Joctarasheado that seeks to consume everything with anger. In his confrontation with Eki, Roker exemplifies the power of joy over despair.
The enigmatic Vork. My presence is barely noticeable, yet my influence is profound. Cloaked in mystery, I represent the unknown, the untold possibilities that lie between the extremes of joy and rage. My role is ambiguous. I could be a mediator, a manipulator, or merely a chronicler of events. My silence adds to my mystique, making it unclear whose side I am on, if any. This ambiguity makes me a wild card in the unfolding events, holding potential keys to resolutions or further complications.
The Vork, a mystical observer of the unfolding drama, watches from the shadows. His potential roles are manifold. He could be the catalyst for a truce or the spark for a greater conflict. His deep understanding of both Rocker and Eki could make him a powerful ally or a formidable foe. His actions, or lack thereof, will inevitably shape the course of events in Vexel, for better or for worse. The ongoing battle between Roker and Eki is a vivid illustration of the struggle for emotional balance in Vexel. This conflict is not just between two individuals, but represents a larger battle within every inhabitant of the city. The presence of Joctarasheado challenges each person to confront their darker sides and to choose their path. Rocker's efforts to counter the effects of Joctarasheado with laughter and joy are heroic, yet they highlight the delicate balance that must be maintained to prevent the city from descending into chaos. His duel with Eki is a poignant reminder that joy must often fight hard to exist in the shadow of rage. This battle is also a metaphor for the internal conflicts that each person faces. The choice between succumbing to destructive emotions or embracing those that uplift and unify is a daily struggle. Vexel, in this sense, is a mirror to the world outside, reflecting the universal battle between darkness and light.
Conclusion: the uncertain future. As the dust settles on the clash between Rocker and Eki, my role remains as enigmatic as ever. My potential to sway the balance of power in Vexel is immense, yet my intentions are as obscure as the shadows from which I watch. This ambiguity leaves us pondering the future, the resolutions that might come, and the alliances that could be forged.
The story of Rocker, Eki, and the Vork is a complex tapestry of emotions and power. It challenges us to think about the nature of our emotions and the impact they have on our lives. As Vexel stands at a crossroads, so too does each viewer, invited to reflect on their own battles and the choices they make. In the end, the tale of Joctarasheado is a metaphor for life's perpetual conflict and the hope that balance can be restored. It leaves us with questions about the nature of power and emotion, the role of unknown forces in our lives, and the possibility of change. The story of Vexel is far from over, and like any good tale, it leaves us eager for the next chapter, hopeful yet uncertain of what is to come.